Good afternoon. We are at the MTR Smith Children's Home in Port Elizabeth, or Gqeberha as it is these days, in South Africa. And we're going to interview Tanya Eels, who is the director here. So let's go, Tanya.
Hi there, thank you so much for this opportunity and thanks for being here.
It's a pleasure. I'd like you just to share with us what your vision is for MTR Smith.
You know, MTR Smith is really just, for me, the biggest thing, the main thing is to provide each child with a happy childhood. Because that is something that has been taken away from our children. Just to give you a little bit of a history of the organisation, if that's okay with you.
That's perfect.
We're 100 years old and started actually in a little town called Yugi in the rural area in the Eastern Cape in the 1918s. And at that stage, we had the big flu epidemic in South Africa. And so everybody was also walking around with the masks as with COVID time. And a lot of children were actually left orphaned. And the minister of the day, the Dutch Reformed Church, then got together he climbed on his horse and off he went from place to place, farm to farm, and he found all these children that were left orphaned. And there was nobody else to look after them. And so with the help of the people in the town and the farming area, farming communities, the children's home was built. And in 1923, the first child was officially admitted. Up until that stage, they were staying in the parish. The boys in the parish and the girls in one of the community members' houses. And from there, the children's home just grew. But unfortunately, the children that are in MTR Smith Children's Home need so much more. They need speech therapy, they need a psychologist, they need occupational therapy. They need to be in a special needs school, and in the rural area that was not able. It was not possible to do that. And so the MTR Smith Children's Haven, which is named after one of the Dutch Reformed ministers, moved to Port Elizabeth in 1987 to this area, and we've been here since then. So last year we were officially 100 years old. So we've been around for a long time, and we at the moment have got, we look after 78 children. We provide them with residential care. But more than that, it's love, a safe haven, and a place that they can call home. And from here, what we try and do is obviously each child needs to go to school. So we're with 18 schools in Port Elizabeth. And the reason for that is simply because there's so many needs, educational needs, because a lot of our children have not been to school. The reasons why they are removed from parental care, because this is all done through court and our Children's Act, so it's mandated by law. They're placed here with a court order. It's children that have been severely neglected. So here we're talking not just physically, emotionally, medically, educationally, and then also children that have been abused, again, emotional, physical, sexual abuse. All of the children in my care have been sexually abused.
Where does your funding come from?
Okay, we receive subsidy from the Department of Social Development, which is the
Does
government.
it always come regularly?
No, it's supposed to come in advance, quarterly, and it normally comes after the second month. And the problem is that the subsidy only covers 51% of the expenditure. So we have
51%?
51%.
Okay.
So we have to fundraise the rest of that money, or we have to appeal to the public. So we are so dependent on the public for donations. And if you haven't seen a miracle yet, this is the place to be. That in a day of putting a plea out on Facebook, it was so busy here that the gate broke.
Sure.
From opening and closing, opening and closing, and so many people just came in and dropped. They didn't want to have their name mentioned anywhere. They just came in here, and so the people of Port Elizabeth are just absolutely wonderful. All I need to say is I need help. And you know, situations with that a week ago, for example, I didn't have a clue how I was going to provide. The running costs are normally the problem. How I was going to pay the salaries. How I was going to pay the petrol to get the children to school. And a week later, the exact amount of money is in the bank account. And the question is, how is that possible? My response to that, and look, money standing up, is that it is the Lord. and that we are based on faith at MTR.
So what sort of size is your budget every month?
Our budget is, for the year, you're looking just under 7 million. So if you look at 51%, we have to fundraise 2.5 million in the year. Our salaries, we've had to retrench, unfortunately, so now you've asked me a number that I haven't even worked out yet. But quickly, just give me a second. You're looking at just under, it's probably 350,000 Rand, 400,000 Rand. But our budget is so cut to the bone that every month it differs. If that's making any sense to you.
Yeah, I understand.
So if I get food in, my food budget is 50,000 Rand a month. That's what I would normally have to pay. But for the last 3 months, I didn't have to buy food because the people of Port Elizabeth have just been so wonderful.
Yeah.
So that 50,000 Rand, which I in actual fact didn't have to begin with, I now don't have to spend.
Yeah.
So it's a continuous...
I understand what you mean.
Yes.
So the one provides for the other.
Yes, but look here, because you've got a municipal account, obviously we all got to pay electricity and water. Yes, that we have to pay.
Yeah.
And because it's like a normal home.
Yeah.
In your home, you still need clothes, you need food, you need to pay the electricity and water, you need to go to school, ride to school.
Tires.
The tires,
servicing of vehicles.
Service.
Yeah.
And as I can honestly say to you, yes, it sometimes is very difficult because it's morale of staff. The staff that work with us are family, like the children are family. And to look into a staff member's face and say, because this is what happened a week ago, I had to call a meeting and I just say to them, ladies and gents, I'm not going to be able to pay your salary at the end of the month. You need to make the arrangements with the bank. If you've got debit orders that are going off. And so unfortunately I do have to prepare the staff, even though I know that the Lord is trusting the Lord, that the Lord is going to provide. And that does affect the staff morale. I have had staff leaving because of that instability, if I can call it in that sense. They're all single moms or dads. Okay. And they need to have a position at work where they know, even if it's such a low salary, at least I'm getting something at the end of the month. So that is sad, but I also believe that there comes a time to arrive and a time to leave, if that's making any sense. So, and I pray that the right people are supposed to be
for the right time,
for the right reason.
Absolutely.
And so I've told everybody that is here, you are here because the Lord put you here.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank
we
you.
Continue to pray for you.
Thank you.
And you're on our hearts.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it.
Pleasure.
We can't do it without you.
Yeah.